Welcome everyone to another exciting Invisible Architecture interview. My name is Carol Asa, and my guest today is Sandee Mac. I've known and seen Sandee for years at all of the dowsing conferences from Vermont to Santa Cruz, and I'm excited to have her here because she has a great program on allergies. And so Sandee, welcome.
Thank you, Carol. Thanks so much for inviting me. I'm so glad to be able to share this with people. Yeah.
And then at the end she has a handout. So I'm going to list when this is posted, and then you can email her and get the handout.
Okay, that'll be great.
Like when Angela for remote viewing with all of her dialogues with the ETs, everybody was able to get that. She had done that for the government.
Great.
Okay. So to start out, you want to give us a bio? I know you've moved to Arizona. You were in Texas a long time.
Yeah, I was originally from northern Minnesota, kind of grew up in Texas, lived in northern Wisconsin for many years, worked in a mental hospital, so I got to know what crazy was about. So sometimes when people say, "Oh, you're going to think I'm crazy," and I go, "No, I already know what crazy is."
Well, that's so interesting because I'm from Eau Claire, which is northern Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, I lived in Superior.
Oh yeah, I've been there many times. Okay.
Yeah. One of the armpits of the world. They used to have 85 bars in the city and not one bookstore. That give you a little bit of a caliber of the people there.
That's 180 opposite from Eau Claire, because Eau Claire was still with the university,
Yeah.
Eau Claire State. That was all bookstores.
Yeah. Then I moved back to Texas. Then I lived in the Mediterranean for many, many years over in Malta, a little island. And then back to Texas. I lived in Santa Fe, and then moved back to Texas, moved in Mexico, and back to Texas. And now I'm here in northern Arizona, and I'm not moving again. I plan to die here.
You told me it's in the mountains, right?
Yeah, it's up in the mountains. We're about 6,000 feet. So we have all four seasons, and we have snow, but it's not anywhere near as hot as Phoenix or anything like that. It's much more, based for human beings. Yeah. So I've been dowsing for a long, long time. I first started teaching at ASD, American Society of Dowsers, in the early 90s, like 91 or 93. I was the national president for 4 years, the first woman ever elected to be a national president. And I've spoken at many, many of the conferences, East Coast, West Coast, Santa Cruz, Flagstaff, Asheville, Canada, Toronto, many, many dowsing conferences. I love dowsers. I love dowsing. I just think it's one of the most important skills that you could ever learn or ever have. So I'm so grateful to be able to share with you and your dowsers here, Carol. Thank you.
I love that going to these dowsing meetings, conferences, all of these, because it's such an eclectic group. I don't think only with cyclotronics do you get a similar eclectic group.
You're right. And the way I think of it, I go to these conferences because I get fed. I get new ideas. I get new thoughts. I get new concepts and things that I can take and change or adjust. And, I think as dowsers, we spend a lot of time putting out, teaching and sharing and giving, feeding people. And when I go to these conferences, then I get fed. I get my tank filled up a little bit. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
So on this allergies, I know you have a whole protocol, different types of methods you use. So what's your definition of an allergy? Let's get into
Well, an allergy is anything, I guess, that our body has an allergic reaction to. And we generally think of it in terms of like ragweed, or I have an allergy to shrimp or something like that. But the truth is we can have allergies to anything. And so to start out with, the first thing I want to do, set my timer here, is to expand people's mind to consider that your body could have an allergy to anything. You could have an allergy to another person. You could have an allergy to a location. You could have an allergy to a color or a star system or an organ in your body. And
Mhm.
so if you'll just keep expanding, expanding, expanding as we talk about the possibilities and maybe jot some of these things down, you'll be able to take and utilize this technique, which is really quite simple. I'm going to explain it very thoroughly
Uh-huh.
to make a lot of changes in your life in a really simple and easy way.
Okay.
So now this works with dowsers. So if you're working with a pendulum or another dowsing instrument, and you can also use this with muscle testing in whatever way that you muscle test,
Mhm.
or like with the arm or the leg or the head or whatever. And then you can also use it with what we call the sway test. So you ask your body a question, and it will usually move forward for something positive, or it will sway backward for something negative. And that's like a conversation or a way to communicate with your subconscious mind. You can't use that technique very well for things like getting the numbers for the lottery ticket, but you can certainly use it. And I invite people, go ahead and try it and get out of your system. But
There's
you can
different
certainly,
types of dowsing for that just fit with so many things. I like one time had done something similar to this, and I had all the little homeopathic remedies in boxes, and then
right.
people just go across and see where their finger, the stick plate thing.
Yes, yes, like a
And then it
radio.
would go, oh my God, I'm allergic to the summer solstice.
Right. Could be anything. Could be
Yeah,
anything.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just first of all, I want to give credit where I got this from, because I've found that sometimes we're a little bit lax in giving credit where we got things from. We just take something, we go off and act like we just invented it, and that's not really true. We need to share, we need to acknowledge, and we need to give credit where credit is due. And where I got this technique was from another dowser, wonderful, wonderful person. She's on the other side now. She's what we call a sky dowser. Her name
Right.
was Pat Delafield. I don't know if you ever
Oh,
knew
I
Pat.
know Pat Delafield. I knew her well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pat Delafield showed me this technique, and she said she used to do several every morning before she even got out of bed, cleared
Oh,
out. And
okay.
so I don't know where she got it. And I do believe that this technique is part of a larger system of some kind, but I don't know what it is. But this that I'm going to give you is complete in itself, and it's very comprehensive. You'll be able to use that.
Mhm.
Okay, so what would you say? What percentage of your listening audience are dowsers that feel they're capable or competent of getting a dowsing response?
I'd say because it's an eclectic group from feng shui to healers, I'd say 50%.
Oh, okay. Well,
Maybe,
that's great.
maybe 40, like but there's a
Okay,
whole bunch that aren't.
that's a substantial number anyway. That's still very good. So let me just explain about what this is and kind of how this works. So first of all, I want people to think about, do you have any allergies, or do you suspect that you have any allergies? It could be green beans, it could be ragweed, it could be anything. It could be a food thing, it could be something that grows, it could be anything. So I want people to just take a moment and think about if you have anything, and you may have been formally tested. They used to, well, I guess they still do. They test you and they poke all these things in your arm and put
Never had
reagents
that.
and stuff on there. And then if you swell up or get
Oh,
sick,
that's how they do it, huh?
yeah, that's a way to tell, oh yeah, your body has an allergic reaction to this, that, and the other. It's kind of pricey to get all that stuff. And then what they did, well, this was a long, long time ago, probably back in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
What they do is then they give you some injections. Either they have to give them to you, or they give you a shot, and then you have to give yourself like an injection every week to try to neutralize the effects of whatever this thing that you're supposed to be allergic to. So that's the best result that I know of that everybody can have. And it's no fun at all. I don't like shots.
Yeah.
I don't like any of those any shots, including the recent ones that they've done. Um, so, um, so you can douse. And one of the things I want to make really clear is that you need to make a distinction between you, the person, the consciousness, the being, the divine being that you are whatever, having an allergy, and your body having an allergy. So this is something that your body is doing. It's not you, it's not your thinking, it's not your consciousness, it's not your divinity, it's not your past life, it's none of that. This is strictly your body that is having the response. And so you're going to always ask the question when you're trying to determine with a pendulum or whatever else, does my body have an allergy to this? Is my body in alignment with this or whatever? So to underline and capitalize that word, my body. Okay. So I would ask you to then also think about how many of you tried to release these allergies and what different systems have you tried? You might have tried some dowsing things. You might have tried, like I said, the things with the medical response. You might have taken a bunch of medicines, a bunch of prescription or over-the-counter things. And I still have a couple of seasonal allergies that I haven't got figured out. So I end up having to take Zyrtec and all those stupid things for a couple weeks in the springtime when there's something out there that gets me and makes me sneeze and makes my eyes itch. And, you know, I think that was just terrible. Okay. So I want to again remind you that you could be allergic to anything. You could be allergic to organs in your body or endocrine system. You could be allergic to your thymus or your thyroid or your pancreas. Like if you're struggling with diabetes, check to see if your body has an allergy to your pancreas, or even like the hormones that the endocrine system produces. Like, does it have an allergy to insulin? Does it have an allergy to processing insulin or assimilating insulin or utilizing insulin? So this is where you want to get real detailed and very precise with your dowsing. So you could be allergic to people, your mother-in-law, or certain perceptions of races or religions, or people that live in big cities, or people that drive certain kind. I mean, it could be anything. Could be anything.
Or Trump.
Yeah, that's true. You could be. Now, I found a lot of people lately because there's some real special people being born here to help us go through these changes, as you know. And so there's a lot of people. This is going to sound very strange, Carol, but there's people that are allergic to being on the Earth plane.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Maybe they're coming from a real advanced star system or other planetary system. And some people think this is kind of a downgrade in a way because we're a planet of duality instead of just pure light. And so there's a lot of struggle here. I mean, the fact is there really is struggle and pain and suffering, and there's a lot of really wonderful things, but there's also a lot of tough stuff here. And they get down here, they think, oh yeah, I'll come down there, I can help, I can do this and that. You get down here and they go, oh my God, I didn't know it was going to be this bad. You mean I volunteered for this? Why did I stick my hand up? So they could be allergic to being on the Earth plane. Okay, so that's something that people that overall they just can't seem to fit in. They can't seem to get their health in order. They can't seem to get one foot going ahead of the next or move forward in life or whatever. Check to see if they have a problem or an allergy to being on the Earth or being on the Earth plane.
This is really extensive. I mean, these are things people never think of.
Could be anything. They could have an allergy to the truth or expressing the truth. I worked with somebody yesterday that had an allergy to expressing their true self. They were I do a lot of past life work too. I'm really kind of known mostly for a lot of my past life work, but this is someone that is an artist and that lately she has not been able to express that, and she had this allergy to expressing her true self in her creativity. And it tied back to some past life where she actually died because of some story that was going on. She actually died and was killed for some of that. So there's a part of her that goes, nope, not going to do that anymore. Not going to have that happen. So there was an allergy to expressing her true self, which included her innate talents of creativity. And it could be expressing your true self, or it could be like speaking up. or
Mhm.
telling the truth or writing or something like that.
Mhm.
You could have, I had somebody a couple of days ago, this was a brand new one. It's a gal in Nebraska, and she had an allergy. She'd figured it out and called me, says, I got another couple. I want to get them cleared. One of them was an allergy to feeling blessed,
Oh,
being blessed. Is that interesting?
yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
she had an allergy to being understood.
Mhm.
She felt like she could explain things and people would just like ignore her or make her wrong or pick on her or whatever. She said, I understood how this could have come about because she had a speech defect when she was a child, although I didn't know that. She spoke very, very elegantly now. But she, when she was younger, if she had a speech impediment and she couldn't make herself understood, she developed an allergy to being understood. And after we cleared that,
Yeah.
it all freed up. Isn't that
Wow.
interesting?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Um,
It can even
so
be something that people would look at as positive, but it's not positive for the person.
yes, exactly.
Mhm.
So one of the first things that I want to do is I'm going to explain all this in a minute, but the first thing I want to do is clear an allergy, and this is something that Pat Delafield used to do as well. I want to clear the whole group for an allergy to gold.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people have an allergy to gold. I mean, I'd say more than, let me see, 60, 65, 70, 75. More than 85% of the people have an allergy to gold. Do you have any idea why that would be going on?
Well, I don't know if we go back to the Anunnaki, they were brought here to be mining gold. I know that.
That's exactly what I think too. That may be the answer. If we were an intentional species that was either created or modified
Right.
to be slaves for the Anunnaki to dig gold, then there's a part of us that goes up. I don't want anything to do with that. You keep that stuff away from me. But
Right.
gold is supposed to be the basis of our monetary system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if we have an allergy to gold, then we may struggle with money or finances or saving money or having money or manifesting or receiving or keeping money. Isn't
Mm.
that interesting?
Maybe the powers that be know that.
They might.
Keep them
But
allergic.
anyway,
Keep them allergic.
yeah. So what I'd like everybody to do first, before I explain this more thoroughly, is I'd like them to just douse right now or muscle test if they can do that. This is the question, does my body have an allergy to gold?
Okay.
So just douse that and see, does my body have an allergy to gold? It'll be a yes or no.
I get a huge yes.
Okay. Okay. And I hope all the people listening are getting a response as well. Okay. Now, this is really simple. What you're going to do is get a little scrap of paper. I mean, a little, like tear the corner off of a post-it of an envelope, or like a little baby um, post-it note or something like that. Just tear a corner off of something. And on that piece of paper, write the word gold. That's it. That's all you have to write is gold. I'll give people a minute to do that.
I feel I'm back at a dowsing class,
You
at
are.
the conferences.
You are.
Because I think way back in the day, I took this class from Pat Delafield.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, great. All right. So write gold on that little scrap of paper,
Mhm.
and then take that piece of paper and put it in your non-dominant hand, whatever your non-dominant hand is. Doesn't matter which way the paper is facing. You're going to put that piece of paper on the back of your neck, right back there at the occipital. Then you're going to take your thumb and your middle finger, your what we call your birdie finger, okay? Your middle finger, and you're going to put it on either side of the bridge of your nose. If you wear glasses, you might need to take your glasses off. And then you take your first finger and you put that right there in the center of your forehead on your third eye. Okay? Everybody in that position now, right now, I hope. Okay. And then I want everybody to close their eyes and repeat out loud after me. Even if I'm doing this with myself at home, I always do it out loud. Somehow that's better and more effective. So repeat out loud after me. My precious body.
My precious body.
Thank you for protecting me from gold for all these years.
Thank you for protecting me from gold all these years.
Because of you, I'm safe and I have survived.
I'm safe and I have survived.
And I'm so very grateful.
And I'm so very grateful.
However, my precious body, I now have new learnings and new understandings.
I now have new learnings and understandings.
And I have come to know that gold can be a really good thing.
That gold can be a really good thing.
It can help keep us safe and survive.
It can help keep us safe and survive.
It can help us be strong and healthy.
It can help us to be strong and healthy.
It can help us accomplish our goals and desires.
It can help us to accomplish our goals and desires.
And so, my precious body, from this day forward, you and I can be in alignment with gold.
You and I can be in alignment with gold.
In any form that it is.
In any form that it is.
Whether it's in the ground.
Whether it's in the ground.
Whether it's in jewelry.
Whether it's in jewelry.
Whether it's in money.
Whether it's in money.
Whether it's in coins.
Whether it's in coins.
Whether it's in decorations.
Whether it's in decorations.
No matter where it is.
No matter where it is.
We can be in harmony and alignment.
We can be in harmony and alignment.
And the more we are in harmony with it.
And the more we're in harmony with it.
The safer and more successful we will be.
The safer and more successful we will be.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, that's it. Take your little paper down, get your little pendulum out or your muscle testing, and douse this question. Is my body have an allergy to gold? Does my body have an allergy to gold?
No.
Good. That's great.
And
then another question, is my body in alignment with gold?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good. You could ask a couple more questions. Is it in alignment with gold jewelry?
Yes.
Is it in alignment with gold coins?
Yes.
Great. Excellent. You even have gold in your teeth.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay. So now you see how very simple the technique is. Very, very simple. And for those of you that want to pursue this and you want to get the handout, it'll have that script. But I'm going to explain it so that it's very versatile and you can use this with adaptations, just use your intuition in just about any way that you can. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is explain about how and why it works. So what you want to think about is, I mean, can people send you questions or anything, or is this just a radio thing?
No, like on the Zoom, in the chat,
Yes.
They can make comments.
Oh, okay. So if anybody has any questions, please go ahead and send those now if you have a question. And I'll try to answer this before it gets too behind us all.
Well, I think mine is at the end. Mine doesn't run during, but the Zoom program I have, when I post it, you get a transcript of the talk.
Okay.
And you can, it has places for comments and questions.
Okay, great. That's fine. Okay. So a simple way to think of this of an allergy is to imagine like a phobic response, like a phobia. And many of us have had phobias. Now, a phobia is like a one-time learning experience. Let's say, for example, you get stuck in an elevator. You're going up to some big high floor, and about partway up, it stops, and you get stuck there for an hour or two because the machines or the equipment or something or the electronic, whatever screws up. So you're stuck in this elevator for a little while. Okay. It can be terribly frightening, or especially if the lights go out, or it could be just an inconvenience. But the next time you go to get on an elevator, you think, what's the chances of this happening again? Probably 1 in a million. You go to get on the elevator and your body goes, I'm not getting on that thing. Don't let me get on that. I don't want to get on that elevator. I know what happens in those things. Right. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So it's like, even though your logic mind is saying it's probably okay, your body has like a phobia and it's going, I'm not getting on that elevator. You go walk those 10 flight of stairs or something like that, because it's like a one-time learning experience. Does that make sense?
Like with your technique, you're like erasing that imprint that was
in a way. We're re-educating that part of the brain that sets up that phobic response. That's exactly right. So the part of the brain that does this is what we call the primal brain or the reptilian brain, and it's right back here, like at the base of the skull. They call it that reptilian brain. Everybody's got it, or I think it's the amygdala. Okay, and that part of the brain has one purpose only, and that's to keep our bodies safe. It doesn't care about anything else. It doesn't care how smart we are. It doesn't care how spiritual we are. It doesn't care how evolved we are. It doesn't care how educated we are, how mean we are, how nice we are. It doesn't care about anything except keeping our physical body straight. So safe. So this is the part that keeps us from sticking our hand in the fire or stepping off a cliff or standing in the middle of the freeway. I mean, that's its job. It doesn't care about anything else on any other level about anything except keeping the body safe. And that's the part that we're dealing with.
It's an interesting one. Like if you stare at someone, the back of their neck there, and you're standing behind them, they'll turn like they feel it. And
yes, you're right.
Like when you're in the bank or like when you're in any line and you just stare at someone, you'll just notice,
they're picking that up energetically.
Yeah, because Rupert Sheldrake's done stuff on that. Yeah,
exactly. You're exactly right. Exactly. So that's the part of the brain that we're talking to. Then like I said, you're not going to use logic with it. Nothing. Energetic, nothing. It's like, does this keep me safe? Or does this not keep me safe? That's it. So it has what we call the 4 F's. It has 4 ways of responding to a threat or a perceived threat or something that's coming around. The first one is, let's say, for example, there's a little reptilian thing, like a little chameleon or a little lizard, okay? And it's walking along and it sees something. It could be anything. It could be a pendulum. It could be, here's a thing of Scotch tape, okay? So it's going to go, okay, what is this thing? Is it something dangerous? Do I flee from this? Is the first F. Do I flee from this? Do I turn around and run away real quick? Okay. Fleeing, that's the first F. The second thing is it comes upon it, and it might be, do I fight with it? Do I go into battle? Do I try to overcome it? Do I fight it, kill it, or chase it away or something? Okay. That's the second F. The third is, do I feed on it? The third is feeding. Do I feed on it? Can I gobble this up? Can I eat it? Is it a bug? Is it something I can consume? Okay. This is what the reptilian brain does. This is how reptiles respond to things in only one of 4 ways. And the 4th way is making whoopee. You can figure out what that F is. Okay. If you don't know, ask the person next to you. Okay. So you're talking to this little part of the brain. It's only going to respond in one of four ways. It doesn't care if you're a dowser, if you're smart or you're spiritually, it doesn't care about anything. Can I eat it? Can I run away from it? Can I fight it? Or can I mate with it? Okay, that's it. Make it whoopee. So we have to, when we're talking to that part of the brain, we call it my precious body because we're being respectful. It's got the mentality of, let's say, a 3 or 4 or 5-year-old child. So we're not getting in there and making it wrong or shaming it or arguing with it or fighting with it or threatening it. No, we're going to go in like you would a little child. My precious body, thank you. Thank you for keeping me safe. Oh, I kept you safe. Well, that's good. I'm really glad I kept you safe. Just like a little kid would. You got to use that same kind of response, that same kind of tone.
Right.
So you're talking to it in that way throughout the whole process and address it that way. So you'll notice when I go through the script again, every one of those things is, this will keep us safe and survive. Oh, safe and survive. Well, I'll go for that. Yeah, I want to be safe and survive. This will, help us accomplish our goals. Okay, I want food. I want shelter. I want the basic needs met. Okay. So the other thing with that is that we need to be extremely specific when we're addressing an allergy. You can't just say, I'm allergic to flowers or I'm allergic to dust. Dust is very hard to deal because there's so many different components in dust. But if you're doing flowers, you're going to have to say, is it daisies? Is it violets? Is it roses? Is it chrysanthemums? What kind of flower is it? And usually you could say the flower, but you might have to get down to the pollen. Is it the pollen from this? Is it the leaves? Is it the petals? Do you understand? So if you're not getting the result instantly, and usually you'll get results very instantly, just like you did with gold, Carol. Okay, so you might need to be specific. If usually it will take care of it. But I'll give you an example. I live up here in northern Arizona. We have a lot of cedar trees and those kinds of things. And I had a lady here not very long ago. Her son was doing some maintenance work, and she was sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. I said, "What's going on?" And, well, I've got an allergy. I said, "Well, what is it?" She said, "I think it's these kind of trees." It was like shaggy bark juniper. It's the kind of trees that we have that grow real raggedy and twisted and everything. You know how those trees are. And so I said, well, let's try this thing and see if we do it. So I did it that we would have the allergy to that kind of tree. She came back the next day and it was still going on. And so I checked, I doused, and it wasn't the leaves of the tree. I had figured out, I looked at something and I figured out you didn't say leaves of that tree, you said needles.
Oh, okay.
Like a pine tree has needles, it doesn't have leaves. So when we said that her body had an allergy to the needles of the shaggy bark juniper, that's what you would write on the paper. Shaggy bark tree needles. Then the allergy stopped immediately. Stop sneezing, stop itching, stop everything immediately. So sometimes you want to get really, really specific. I remember I worked on a lady in Texas one time at a chiropractor's office, and she had a lot of thyroid problems. She was on a lot of medication for thyroid, and her body had an allergy to her thyroid. Okay. Well, we cleared that, but she went home and she looked up all the different kinds of hormones that thyroid produced and the parathyroid, like thyroxine. Okay. And then now you can take it even deeper. You can say, does your body have an allergy to producing thyroxine, to assimilating thyroxine? You see, to utilizing thyroxine. So you might have to change it to get it down exact. And when you get it, the problem is.
I see why your system works so well because it's so precise.
Yes, and you take you in dowsing, as you know, we always take it from the general to the specific,
Right,
from the big chunk down to the tiniest little
right.
piece. So it may be the pollen of a plant.
But you
It
see,
may
I've been to so many dowsing classes and they've never gotten down to that level, like you're going,
yeah,
you know,
yes.
you're just drilling down to the,
Yes, and I'm a Virgo, so I'm a detail oriented for I can see big chunk and then I can see down to the cellular, and
Mhm.
I'll take it beyond the cellular down to the vibration and frequency level if we have to, where it's even beyond the atoms,
Mhm.
down to the just the energetics of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to explain that if it's something that you're not getting the result with,
Mhm.
let's say a kind of a tree, check to see if it's the pollen or if it's the leaves or the needles or the bark or
Yeah.
the flowers
Mhm.
or whatever else it could be in terms of that tree. Because I will tell you, I've had this system for 20 some years,
Mhm.
maybe then longer than that, and I have done thousands of people and taught thousands of people, and it never doesn't not work if you get the languaging and the wording correctly. Just take a couple minutes and douse what's the wording that's the correct way, because
Mhm.
you're just dealing with that little reptilian brain back there, and then you're just going to go talk to it and
Uh,
correct the misthinking because it's scared. It thinks it's like the phobia is like, let's say somebody has a phobia to cats, okay,
yeah.
and they get around a cat and they start having these reactions. They start sneezing, their eyes start watering, they start uh, um, breaking out like in little hives and red spots and all that kind of stuff. Maybe they start hyperventilating, they're having problem breathing, all kind of different things. And the body thinks, oh my God, there's a saber-toothed tiger that's going to eat me alive. And the threat is a little tiny cat hair.
Yeah.
It's totally disproportionate to the reality. It doesn't do any good to be logical with that part. No, you've got to go in and talk to it and say, look, blah, 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 la, la, la. Okay. So let me just take a minute because this is so common that people have an allergy to dogs or cats. So
Right.
you don't say to a dog, you're going to check about 4 or 5 things. You're going to check dog or cat. Does
Mhm.
it have an allergy to the dog or cat? To the
Mhm.
dog or cat hair?
Mhm.
To the dander?
Right.
To the saliva. You know, cats clean themselves all the time, so they
Right.
lick their fur. So it
Mhm.
may be the cat saliva, to cat feces, to
Mhm.
cat urine, and to cat protein. So it could be any one of those. What did I say? Probably 6 things: hair, dander, feces, urine, protein, and saliva. 6 different
Now,
things that
what's
you
the
can check.
protein? The protein is,
I
it's
don't
from
know, but
its saliva? Oh, I see.
it's something that comes up, and if it checks out, you've got to
Okay.
clear it, and then the allergy's gone. They
Okay.
can sit there and pet the cat or pet the dog, and they have no reaction at all. I
Wow.
don't know what it is, it just works.
And then the thing is, when we put that little patch here on the back, on the
Yep,
cervical, I've forgotten how to say that word, but is
yeah,
that the same thing of reprogramming the reptilian brain?
yes, you're talking to it. You
Yeah,
can
I
talk
see.
to your body.
That's where you would put your little
You put your little
patch.
paper back there. If
Yeah.
you're really stuck sometime and you can't find paper, you could write it on your hand.
Okay.
And sometimes you don't know the name of something. Like one time I was at a seminar or something up in an island up in Canada, Whidbey Island off the coast of Seattle. And
Mhm.
there was some kind of grass or something growing, and I was having a reaction to it. So you can take a little bit of that plant, a little bit of the actual plant, and put that in your hand and put it back here, and you talk to it.
Oh,
My precious body, thank you for protecting me from this plant.
mm-hmm.
Blah blah blah. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the ideal thing would be to know what it is,
Right.
and write it down. Now, sometimes you don't know all the things. So if you're really having serious allergies,
Mhm.
go to Google and pull up what kind of trees grow in your region,
Oh,
like in your
okay.
county or your part of the state.
Mhm.
And it might not be a tree. It might be a shrub, or
Mhm.
it might be a brush, or it might be a wild grass.
Mhm.
But you could go down the list because there'll be lists in the Google thing of
Mhm.
all the grasses, the wild grasses that grow in that area, and you'll get a hit on something. And then you say, okay, well, here it's horsetail, blah, 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 or something. Write that down, put it back there, and clear it out, and it's done.
Hmm.
It's an even
You know,
faster to wait.
it's interesting, like when you're gardening and then something just blows in, and then you look it up, and it isn't native. Do you know what I mean?
Right, because that's another
Invasive,
thing
and
I
so that
found,
might,
Carol,
those
is
might,
that the winds can blow things 400 miles.
yeah, right.
So there might be stuff flowing in here to Arizona all the way from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I haven't found, there's a couple things I still have an allergy to that I haven't figured out because I think they're coming from someplace quite a distance from here in the
Okay.
springtime when we have the big winds. Yeah.
I mean, I
Um,
went out like 2 days ago and I saw a new plant and it was all growing. And then you know how you can do on your phone, picture this, and it's a nicotine plant. It had just,
oh,
it had just blown in.
is it like a tobacco plant, some kind of
Yeah,
tobacco?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, check and see if your body's has an allergy to it.
Yeah.
So now you can also have an allergy to certain substances um, that could be deceptive. For example,
Mhm.
some people will say they have an allergy to corn, but
Mhm.
they may not actually have an allergy to corn. One of the things that they did in the Vietnam War, you may remember this, is that they used a herbicide called dioxin,
Right.
agent, also known as Agent Orange, and they used that to kill all the plants in the area so they could go kill the people.
Mhm.
Stupid, stupid things that they are. And so when they use that fertilizer, or not fertilizer, that herbicide thing on corn, it doesn't just go in the roots, it actually goes up into the kernel of the corn and
Mhm.
it settles in the kernel. So your
Right.
body may not have an allergy to corn, but it's got an allergy to the dioxin, the poison that's in the corn kernel.
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
Mhm.
Yeah. So they could
Just
check
be
that.
like in the market now, how they have that new thing, Bill Gates has patented Apple, that
Yeah.
protective surface. So you might not be allergic to the apples or the whatever he's doing at pears, he's doing
Yeah.
everything, but
Yeah.
it's that coating. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
And if you can find out the name of that, try that. If not, you could say the coating on top of this apple.
Mhm.
Try that and
Mhm.
check and see. Yeah.
Right. Mhm.
So then with people, you could have an allergy to intimacy. Um, you could have an allergy to, like I said, so even colors and star systems and
Yeah.
locations. You could have an allergy to, oh, the gal in Nebraska had found out she had an allergy. I don't know where she came up with this, but it was true. Being favored by God.
Oh my.
She's a pretty heavy duty Christian lady, although she does believe in dowsing. And she said, I'm not favored by God. And we cleared that. And she said, okay, I feel like I'm a favored child of God now. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So much of this is so abstract. It's like, yeah, it just can
Yeah,
go in any direction. I mean, you really have to
that's what
sit
I said.
down and,
I want you to open your mind and be open to any possible thing. Now,
right.
another piece that's important is that if you have a health concern or there's an issue, let's say not you or I, but somebody else has a diagnosis of cancer. They've got cancer of the liver or
Mhm.
cancer of the intestine or something like that.
Mhm.
Nearly always, I will find that that part of the body that the body has an allergy to that. So check and see does your body have an allergy to your liver?
Oh, I see. Mhm,
So I don't know. And then clear that up
mhm.
because I don't know which came first. Did the body have an allergy to the liver and then the cancer got created? Or did the body have cancer and that created an allergy to the liver?
Mhm, mhm,
So they can do that. And then the endocrine system,
mhm.
people will have an allergy to being in their body,
Wow.
believe it or not, to being, so they're spaced out all the time, halfway here, halfway there. Um, People will have an allergy to seeing the truth. They don't want to see the truth. They want to make up some kind of fantasy
Right.
or believe something that's not really real,
Mhm,
or seeing the truth or acknowledging the truth.
mhm.
That's something else that's very common. Yeah. So with a lot of health concerns, by clearing up the allergy that may be associated with it,
Mhm.
then you will a lot of times accelerate the healing with that as well.
So
And
in this handout that they're going to get or they'll download, um, it has examples of this or
doesn't have a lot of examples. I'm giving examples now, but
okay,
just
it has more what to
imagine,
say.
imagine anything. Yes, I'm gonna. I hope I don't miss you. I'm gonna see if I can get that
Uh,
handout so they could get a screenshot maybe of that. Let me
that's
see if I
okay.
can get. You don't want me to do that? Okay.
We don't want to rock the boat.
Okay. Good. I don't blame
But
you.
they know, I mean, I'm sure everybody's going to want this, so it's
Okay.
perfect.
You can get in touch with
I
me
was
with
I
that.
was just getting so it has the pattern to say, so
It's got,
that's
it's
what
going
they
to say
need.
what that is. So what I want to do now is, once again, I want somebody to find something. We're just going to do another example. Find something else that their dowsing or their muscle testing says that their body, remember, not them, their body has an allergy to. So think of something, Carol, douse it out and see what it is. Could be anything. Come up with something, and I'm going to let the rest of your audience come up with something as well. We're going to do one more example here. It could be something that you're eating, something that you're drinking,
Well,
something in your
I did it with one I know. It's eggplant.
eggplant. Okay, so your body has an egg. Let me see. Does her body have an allergy to eggplant? It does, and that's one of the deadly nightshade families.
And I've
It's
tried to embrace it, and I was doing a class on the, where you put it on your body to see if it's good for you. So I had
yeah.
this beautiful eggplant from my garden, and I was there in front of everybody with it, and I said, "See, like," and then I just went backwards and almost fell over.
Yes, it's going, no,
It
no,
was so
no.
surprising. Yeah.
Those things away from me. I'm getting, does your body have an allergy to eggplant? And I'm getting a big yes on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so write that on your little paper. And I'm
Uh-huh.
going to invite everybody else listening to write their allergy on the little paper. And now that you understand how it's a fear thing, you'll understand the languaging that we use. This is so simple. I'm being very, very detailed in explaining it.
But that's great. Then everybody gets it.
They can, and they can go back and re-listen to this if there's a
Yeah,
replay available. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Always.
Okay. Put it on your non-dominant hand, the back of your head. Take your thumb and your middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on either side of the bridge of your nose. Put your first finger on your third eye. Close your eyes. And I want to invite everybody to do this out loud and then repeat after me. My precious body,
My precious body,
thank you for protecting me from, and then fill in the blank,
for protecting me from eggplant
for all these years.
for all these years.
Because of you,
Because of you,
I'm safe and I have survived.
I'm safe and I have survived.
And I'm so very grateful.
And I'm so very grateful.
However, my precious body,
However, my precious body,
I now have new learnings and new understandings.
I now have new learnings and understanding.
And I have come to know
I have come to know
that fill in the blank
that eggplant
can be a really good thing.
can be a really good thing.
It can help keep us safe and survive.
It can help keep us safe and survive.
It can help us be strong and healthy.
It can help us be strong and healthy.
It can help us accomplish our goals and desires.
It can help us accomplish our goals and desires.
And so, my precious body,
And so, my precious body,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
you and I can be in alignment
you and I can be in alignment.
With fill in the blank.
Eggplant.
Whether it's in, now think of the natural place that it could be and say that, like growing in the ground, or
Whether it's in the ground or in the market,
good. Whether it's in the restaurants,
or the restaurant,
whether it's on the table,
whether it's on the table,
whether it came from the neighbors,
whether it came from the neighbors,
no matter where it came from,
no matter where it came from,
we can be in harmony and balance.
we can be in harmony and balance.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, you can put your hands down. Now, this last part of the statement, you're going to adjust that according to whatever it is, because if it's like an allergy to being on the earth, you wouldn't say whether it's in the ground. You're going to say, thank you for protecting me from being on the earth. But now I have new learnings and understanding, and I've come to understand that while I'm here on the earth on my mission or on the assignment, it's going to be a good idea to be in my body on the earth plane. And when I'm done with this life, when I'm done with this mission, when I'm done with this assignment, I can go back to my people, or I can go back to my home, or I can go back. So they would adjust it to something like that. So just change the wording that you're talking to that little part, got the mentality of a 4, 5, 6-year-old kid, and you talk to it quietly and nicely and gently, and make it okay for it to be that way.
Okay. Well, you know what? I think we're almost here at the end, and this is a perfect, having given that out, I think it's a perfect way to bring it to
complete. Yes. So I'm going to invite people to get in touch with for any questions and answers. And then another thing, like I like to offer, Carol, for people that might be having something else, just to take advantage of all the possibilities of dowsing, if this is okay, is that I like to give a little special offer that if people want to do a little quickie session with me, like about a 15-minute session, they can call me and they can schedule that 15 minutes for $20.
Okay,
because
so I can put your number on underneath that.
Yes, because sometimes people get stuck and they just can't figure it out, and they need a little help. And this is something that can be done in, 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm glad to share that with people. And also my website is sandeemac.com.
Right. Okay.
Or
this was great.
With email. Okay.
Well,
So thank you.
This was absolutely.
I hope this is helpful.
The thing that's so great on this is everyone can use it. I mean, it's so applicable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another way to expand your dowsing skills and help other people. Absolutely. So thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks again.
You're welcome.